Make a motion to accept the agenda, meeting in Scituate Board of Health, Monday, January 29th, Selectmen Chambers, Town Hall, 6 p.m.
I will make a motion to open the meeting, accept the agenda, Monday, January 29th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, schedule events, items. Discuss and vote Morris Engineer representing the homeowner's request for installation of a septic system requiring multi-local upgrades, 109 Glades Road. I know everyone knows you, but just to state.
For the record, my name's Gregory Morse, registered engineer with Morse Engineering. This is a septic system repair project at 109 Glades Road. 109 Glades Road. Looking at the system layout, there's an existing dwelling here. The property line is shown in bold. We're proposing a new 1,500-gallon septic tank in the back of the house, a new distribution box and leaching chamber system. This layout, though, does require a total of 4 local upgrades, which is why it's before you. None of them are property line setbacks, but according to the rules and regulations, we have to come before you when we're asking for 4 or more local upgrades. Those would be a reduction in the setback from the soil absorption system to a slab foundation associated with a one-bedroom cottage on the property. The second one would be allow a reduction from 5 feet to 4 feet from the groundwater table to the bottom of the septic system. That allows it to flow by gravity and makes it so that there's no massive import of fill on this site. Thirdly, we were able to excavate 1 test pit, which was kind of centrally located in the middle of the soil absorption system. We're asking for permission to do 1 test pit instead of 2. 2 test pits back here. It's a highly congested area between overhead wires, decks, existing houses, existing cottage, but the material we feel is going to be consistent in that small area. And then lastly is a setback from the septic tank, or sorry, not the septic tank, but the septic tank and water line from 10 feet down to 0 feet where we cross it with the sewer going into the septic tank. There's a water service that comes out and goes to the cottage in the back of the property. Conservation has approved the plan pending your approval.
I have no,
I never knew about the 2 test hole thing, so that doesn't, is that just semantics, 1 hole, 2 holes?
So our regs and Title V require 2 test holes in the leaching area. In certain instances like this, if the property is small, or it's all sand, it's a local upgrade that has been requested and granted for other small lots.
Sometimes they can go to the next door neighbors if they had one done. Especially in an area like this where the soils are pretty consistent and the lots are small.
Yeah. No, I'm cool with it. Jen, you've updated plans, everything's good?
Yep, all the administrative comments have been addressed.
Cool. All right, make a motion to approve the septic repair plan with local upgrades requested that include, number 1, use of 1 test hole in the disposal area. Number 2, reduction in setback between the septic tank and water line from required 10 feet to 0 feet with the water line to be sleeved. Reduction in the required separation of 5 feet to 4 feet between the bottom of the SAS and groundwater, and reduction in the setback between the slab foundation wall and the SAS from required 10 feet to 7 feet. That's the 4 you had on there?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hi, Greg.
all right.
So I'll complete that paperwork on it tomorrow and send you.
Awesome.
Okay, number 2, discuss and vote septic system noncompliance with 310 CMR 15.000, the State Environmental Code, Title 5 and 105 CMR 410, the Massachusetts State Sanitation Code, Chapter 11, 87 Glades Road. Fedor and Carrot? Crary. Sorry, okay.
Again, for the record.
Representing Greg Morris.
Greg Morris. You've seen this property. It's got a long history. 87 Glades Road, existing 8-bedroom, multi-unit apartment building. I was before you several months ago to permit a tight tank in the back of this property. It was a 5,500 gallon size tight tank. I believe that was the fully designed requirement. Mrs. Crary hired a contractor to build that system. The contractor bailed out. She hired a second contractor to build the system. The second contractor went to the site, had an excavator on site, started construction of the system, and then realized it was unfeasible to build that 5,500 gallon tight tank. That contractor asked us to revise the plan, and we revised the plan, I believe, in November, to switch from one tight tank to a series of 3 smaller tight tanks. Those 3 smaller tight tanks made up the required gallonage that was going to be necessary on this. That second contractor has bailed out on the project. A third contractor has been retained, a third contractor being PA Construction. PA Construction, Peter Armstrong, has gone out. He pulled the permit to construct that 3-tank system. He had his excavator on site. He did a bunch of excavating, and he has found that that 3-tank system is not possible to construct. We face a number of issues out here. Again, it's a very tight lot, and the relationship with the abutting property owners, even though this is all a gravel driveway area, there literally has been a line drawn in the sand, and we are not to step foot or even have the equipment hang over that lot line. It produces a tremendous burden on the contractor, but Peter Armstrong, PA Construction, has said that he has thoroughly reviewed this. He has excavated test pits in this area, and he wants to go back to a single tank layout. The single tank would require a new notification to the abutter, as we're changing the setback to the lot line. We're changing it to 5 feet. It used to be a little more than 5 feet off of the lot line. Secondarily, this size tank is smaller than the 4,500 gallons, which is required. This tank here that we can get in is 3,000 gallons in size. It represents a 340% of the design flow. Typically, with a tight tank, you design for 500% of the design flow. This would require a public notification for the Title V variance, and we'd come in at the next meeting and present that, and Peter is ready to move forward with this installation.
What are you asking for today?
So today, this system was due to be constructed in December.
Right.
You had provided them with a certain deadline. That deadline is more than 1 month past. Greg Morris and I had talked about the current status. I've also had a conversation with Peter Armstrong about this. Wanted, given that the deadline has come and gone, I had wanted Greg to present to you an update of the status today, since we had notified the owners previously back in December that they were to come before you if the system wasn't installed by the deadline. So we're taking advantage of the fact that the owners were supposed to be before you to give you an update, and then the next meeting would, I hope, approval of the final plan that will actually be installed. So this is strictly an update on behalf of the owners as to where they're at.
I too am extremely hopeful that the next installation is one that can be constructed. I pride myself in thinking that I have a great knowledge on constructability of septic systems. I've seen several hundred of them installed over my lifetime, and I've never seen the issues associated with one that we've had here. But Peter is more than confident that he can get this in the ground. But again, it's not a fully compliant system will require a Title V variance, and it appears to be
At
that,
this point, I think we'd
The
just
best
be
we
happy
can
to have
do.
something there, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So, all right, so I'll make a motion to move it to the next meeting pending on his new plans that will draw up within a couple weeks.
I-
The next meeting?
ready for the next meeting.
We're ready for the next.
Okay,
Which is
so-
2/12, right?
Yes, so the next meeting is February 12th. So are you anticipating that it will be submitted in advance of the meeting so that it can be reviewed ahead of time
The
administratively?
plans are
or-
right here for your review. I know there's probably going to be a fee, and I don't know if you want a new permit or not, but here are the plans.
Okay, so we'll stamp those plans in tomorrow, we'll get them in the queue, and then we can deal with the administrative end of
Perfect.
things.
So you're okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Thanks, George.
Greg?
Bye, Doris, thank you. Did you pay the other two constructed,
Yeah, I'm right now $18,000 into this with zero. This is gonna make I paid to have the equipment all
It's been around a long time. I think your third, hopefully.
Good job.
That's a charm,
Cross our
right?
fingers. Thank you.
Thanks.
good night.
Okay. Discuss and vote required septic system operations and maintenance contract non-compliance, 6 Emerson Street, Raffia and Farn?
Rafferty and Farm.
Farm.
So they are apparently not here, Jen, so
So, I'll
this motion,
yeah, so I'll just give you a quick little background. We received a letter from the O&M contractor, Clearwater, in August 2017, indicating that the contract had been suspended, and in addition, repairs were necessary to the jet system in order to make it fully compliant and functional. I sent the owners a letter on August 16th and then again on December 11th, both of which were signed for. One of those letters indicated that they would be before the board tonight if we did not receive the required documentation. We have not, hence why it was on the agenda today. So you'll see that I have a draft motion for you in the event that they did not come
so you
tonight.
physically talked to them? You actually talked to them, or no?
No, they signed for the
Signed,
letter, and the
so they
letter
knew the
very
letter.
clearly says that they're due to come before the board on this date if they did not provide the required O&M contract. They have not reached out to us.
Is this a rental property, or what is this?
I can't say for certain. It's listed as owner occupied, their mailing address is the house, so I can only assume that it's owner occupied.
Okay,
The owners have owned the house since 2004.
okay.
I'm sorry, actually, let me correct myself. The letters were sent to Brookline. So it may or may not be occupied, it may be seasonal. I can't say for certain, but they've owned it since 2004.
Okay. Russell, you have anything to say?
No.
Doug?
Do you want to go? No.
Just another,
Want to go with 14 or? Well aware of it.
All right.
What do you think?
So this, if not a 10, is the correct one, Jen?
Yes, that would be my recommendation. I drafted a motion in the event that they did not attend.
Yeah.
So that's still my recommendation. It should be the last page.
Yeah. No, that's-
All right, fire away.
Make a motion?
Yep.
Move to have the owner of the septic system serving the property located at 6 Emerson Street served with an order to, number one, reinstate the required operation maintenance contract for the system within 21 days of this hearing, and provide a signed copy of the contracts to the Board of Health office upon execution. And two, conduct the necessary repairs to the system within 45 days of this hearing. This order will document the failure to do so will result in subsequent hearing before the Board of Health and may lead to enforcement, including determining that the system is failure and possible condemnation of the property.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving along. All right, discuss and vote non-compliance of failed septic system, 41 Utility Road, McDonough's.
Thanks, you guys.
You want to come up and state names?
Susan McDonough?
Thomas McDonough.
Okay. So I guess, what updates do we have?
I had the system pumped back in December.
Right,
This is from P.F. Spencer,
right.
that they pumped it. I've spoken with Andrew Spath, and we want to get to look at the D-box in depth, because when we had the test done, I don't think the test was that in-depth when they did the initial Title V inspection. I'm not an expert on that, but I don't think digging 2 holes in the yard and coming up with that is accurate. So,
Now, who is that? Who's that?
I cannot for the life of me remember who I called, because at the time we were involved in possibly selling the house to help with a sick relative, and that's what precipitated it. Yeah.
So the Title V inspection was done by an Eric Mueller of Southeast Septic Services. I believe the person you're asking about is Andrew Spath, who apparently they just contacted.
Yes, I've been in contact with him.
He has been in the past a licensed septic installer. I'm not sure if he's currently licensed for 2017. Certainly could be. 18, sorry, 18. And I don't believe he's a licensed Title V inspector at this point.
Okay.
But again, he could be when he came in for his license.
All right. So does he have a date, or has he come
We
to?
are going to move forward with asking the selectmen to,
To propose for putting on
The
the
betterment.
warrant, the betterment program
Okay.
with,
we missed the,
we missed the spring deadline.
no,
No.
we missed the spring. We have to wait till November at this point.
For the special town meeting.
Okay. So that's not until September, October?
November.
November?
Yeah, fall town meeting
Okay.
is not till November.
I mean, again, now we're going another year. This has gone, what, 4 years? We're be on our 5th year now.
It'll be 4 in the spring.
Okay.
It will be 4.
Yeah.
March 2014. So as of March, it'll be 4 years.
I talked to the state level too, and there wasn't anything that they suggested that could help. Basically, the law, I interpreted it one way, and they said, no, we don't interpret it that way.
Oh, right, yeah.
I
last
did
time.
follow up.
Thank you.
I guess my other question is, and I mean, I know we've known that there's the financial and all that stuff. Have you, besides, I mean, have you gone out anywhere else to, I mean, because we don't know if this is going to be a $40,000, a $10,000, a $15,000 job.
Well, that's why I wanted a second opinion with Mr. Spath and his father, to have them take a secondary look at it, to at least give us some idea of where we're going.
That's right. Phil Spath, that was
Yes.
Yeah. No, he has his own engineering firm at this point.
Oh, he does?
Yes. Phil Spath owns Spath Engineering. Andrew Spath owns Scituate.
Was he evaluated?
At one time, yes.
He was,
At one
okay,
time,
okay.
yes.
So we don't have a date for him yet.
Not as of today, no.
So are you asking them to reevaluate and potentially do another Title V inspection for you? Or are you asking them to evaluate what it would take to do a system and provide cost estimates?
I think a little bit of both. You know, we're looking at it from a standpoint of, you know, if it's, what is the least expensive way to be compliant because of what our financial situation is. And like I said, I don't think that the test that I witnessed 4 years ago is an accurate test of the,
Well, whatever
The
you
septic
did witness
system.
is gonna be that much worse 4 years later, though, if you think about it, 'cause
Yeah, I mean, it's not bubbling over, though. You
It's
know
not
what I mean?
bubbling over.
He says here, cleaned up very good, however, right down to the bottom. So there's nothing about like, things bubbling over or the
Right.
ground broke.
Well, and at the end of the day, the bubbling over is a more, we have to have it done right away.
Exactly, right.
But this, it still has to be done.
Oh, I
And we've had the
agree.
4 years, and
Right.
I'm knock on wood, it hasn't bubbled over yet.
right, some people have had 18 years. I
This
mean,
person, how long has this person have behind us that was just here?
I've been working on it for 2 years.
Yeah,
Right.
And somebody has
But if you read the minutes, there's people that have been in.
18 years.
18 years.
Well,
Well,
it's a
2 months don't make
case-by-case
it right.
situation, and...
Right, I understand that,
Right,
but-
but I think the agent now is looking back at records and cleaning stuff up, so everybody's on the same page.
And at the end of the day, you were the one that came in and asked questions about the thing that really got the ball rolling again.
Right.
Yeah, case-by-case, so
So-
I don't want to visit someone else's...
I'm not saying that
No, I know.
we're not gonna.
No, just reading the minutes, it's just, that's not the only one. I'm looking for 6 months, not 18 years.
Right, I mean, there's minutes
I don't
in-
think the selectmen are gonna say no to the betterment.
Yeah, but...
But again, that's not until,
I know, I mean, think about it, okay, so say you do, and it's more than 6 months, it's 10 months, because we're talking about November. So say it does, and you're right, it probably will pass, I would hope it would
Yeah,
pass.
I mean, I think it's
But
necessary
how
for the
quick do you
town.
think, the state is going to reinstate this program and have the money trickle down in order for you to borrow it at 1% or 2% or whatever the program is, and I don't know what the program is.
I can tell you it will be several months on the town's end. I mean, just because town meeting votes does not mean that we can implement it the minute that the town meeting votes. It requires...
There's a lot of logistics.
Right, it requires a lot of collaboration from a minimum of 4 town departments that have to make this voluntary program
I understand.
implementable.
Yeah, we understand that.
And then coordinate it with the state.
Right, and we've also said at prior meetings that we would have our system pumped twice a year until that time. So
Right,
that
and
it
again, it's
doesn't,
not bubbling over or broken. But it's all right here. I mean, it's online, you can look at it. The betterment program.
well, and we're not saying anything about the betterment program if it comes back. I guess the big thing is, we could be talking another year
Yeah.
or a year and a half.
What do the parameters of the betterment program say? I mean, is it a no-interest loan, a low-interest loan, is it, they cover half?
I think it's no to you, to the town, but we have to pay anywhere from 2 to 5% back to you guys.
to the town. The
To the
town
town.
makes money on no betterment.
Yeah,
Minus the workload that the town
I
departments
know, but I
incur.
think it's a necessary thing. If we're all here for the, the betterment of the town, and I know the neighborhood that I live in, even elderly that have reverse mortgages, they need stuff like this.
And I
So,
personally don't see a penny of any of that. I'm on a volunteer basis here on this board, so.
you don't see what?
A penny of any of that money.
Oh, I
I'm a
know, and I'm
volunteer.
willing to do whatever I can to help. I mean, it's something I need, so.
The struggle I see on this case is that we have been working on this for more than 2 years. I have asked on a number of occasions if you've contacted any bank or loan institution.
We did tell you back in October, we did try. We make too much money for,
That was the state grant program.
But
Yeah.
When I-
how could you even contact the bank sergeant if you don't even know what you're asking for? I mean,
And
it
that
could
was
be,
my
yeah,
next,
it
and
could
that was
be a
my
straight,
next.
it could be a straight repair.
Right,
I
because
mean,
they said
you don't know what
you
you're
make too
asking
much
for.
money.
No, but the whole point is you're going to the bank and saying, I need 50,000, but you
No, I
might
said,
only-
do we qualify? That's what I said.
Right, but I guess the big part is, I guess where my frustration is we've had meetings, no shows, of you coming in front of us, then you came in, and it was a Benjamin, and I had it pumped. And that was it. No coming in saying, I've called, and I'm just throwing names, Morse Engineering, this engineer, to come out and just give me an
How
idea.
much does it cost? I have no idea.
Well, that's why-
That's the whole point, that's the whole thing.
point.
That's the whole thing.
Just to have them come out is what I'm
It
saying.
could be free. Who
It could be,
knows?
right, it could be free. I
So
mean,
you guys have no idea.
So
It's
oftentimes,
it's not everybody, this is the free market society we live in. I mean, it's not for us to set any guidelines. All you have to do is just show good faith and just say, we called, and, you know, so-and-so said this, and then you have a concrete number, and then you know, then from there, you can go and either A, look for money, or B, know at least what you're in for.
Well, I called Morse Engineering at the time of the failure, 4 years ago, and we were setting up for plans, and then things changed because of something that happened in our family. Okay, now,
I get that.
now, in your own minutes, it says here, the board noted that if the inspection failed while someone was selling their house and then decided not to sell, then they should not be pursued for a failed system, but documented in the file if no health issue. All right, that's in your own minutes.
What
You-
year-
Unless
what
it's
year is
bubbling
that?
over.
It doesn't matter what year it is, because
It's
it,
pretty
no, it
does.
doesn't.
accurate.
Totally it does. It's a different-
It's under Miss Keys.
2017.
It's under Miss Keys,
January 2017.
all right?
What case is that?
That's yours.
What case is that?
I can't tell you off the top of my head what the, citation is.
January 9th, 2017.
That's it.
I mean, I've indicated on several occasions that Title V is very clear. I've had multiple conversations with the state asking the same identical question. Mr. Clark has had the same conversation with the state. The state provides 2 years from the time the failed system is identified,
So how do these systems go for 18 years?
because I'm not aware of them. When I become aware of them, I actively engage. And they come before the board like all of you.
Leave it home.
Okay.
Well, I liked the thing when you first came in, and you were talking about the engineer and Mr. Spack, moving forward, looking at the inspection. I've never heard of a re-inspection or an inspection overturned.
No, I am not looking to have it overturned. What I spoke to him about was, he was looking for the actual report from the inspector. And then he said, in mentioning it, that there could possibly be something that could be done with the D-box, or it may just need an upgrade. He wasn't sure, he wouldn't know until he physically got in the ground and looked at the
I mean, that, to
system.
me, that's a positive step forward. It could be a repair, it could be the thing that fixes it, I don't know. It's a Hail Mary toss, I guess, I don't know. Maybe it isn't, it's just.
Well, like we said before, we know we're gonna be repairing or replacing the system.
Right.
All right, we know that that has to be
If that fixes
done.
the problem, then that fixes the problem.
We're looking at different, it's not a cesspool, it's a cesspool and it has a 1,000-gallon tank off of that.
So, yeah, it's accessible. The leaching field is accessible. You can't repair cesspools, you have to upgrade them.
Was there a tank in between, 1,000-gallon tank? I mean, I know back when the first repairs were coming in, if there was a cesspool, they would put a tank in, and then the cesspool would become a pit. But I think.
All I know is it goes,
The pit's in.
because I'm not an engineer,
Yeah,
the house goes out and then it goes down towards the driveway to a larger pit or a larger spot. And he went to here, and then there was what I think was the D box is what he's talking about over here.
On the
of
side of the
that.
house?
No, off the front of that,
Oh, so that's all in front, by the driveway in front of you,
yes.
the D-box and that? Okay.
There's a 500 gallon, 1,000 gallon, and then over here is a box of some kind that he stuck a shovel in the ground there and looked and then wrote his report. The sketch is a joke because it's like a circle and a line. It's like the original back from when the house was built and then when they did something to upgrade it. But
And that's the way it was done in that day. If something failed, or they had like to go off, driving spot.
yeah, they put in a new, before I bought the house, they put in a new tank off of the original tank. So it comes out, like I said, I'm not an expert. It comes out and then it goes over to a 1,000 gallon tank by the driveway.
So it has a leaching pit and leaching trench. It has both. And a tank before it. So you have a tank, trench, and a leaching pit.
So, Mr. McDonald, what exactly are you asking for today?
Time. You know, just, we're trying to move forward now that we understand, I understand your frustration with me.
Honestly, it's not,
I understand it.
honestly, it's not a amount of frustration, it's just a matter of doing the right thing so everybody's butts are covered. I mean, that's the bottom line here. It's not trying to bust your balls or anything, it's just a matter of squaring it away, so
And that's-
she's not liable, so you don't have a complete mess of, tomorrow morning because something froze, you know what I mean? So it just doesn't happen. And obviously,
understand that.
financial hardships, come into play with, owning a home and having to repair expensive pieces of the property. I totally get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, as does a loss of a loved one who passed away when all of this started.
I get
And,
it.
and we're just trying, just to move forward. Other people, like I said, other people have had 18 years, other people are
Honestly,
not doing
please stop
this.
saying that, because we really don't care about the other cases, because there's...
Why not?
Because it shouldn't have gone 18 years. It should have been picked up out of the...
Absolutely, I agree with that, but we're
We got a unit
here.
now that was...
And two wrongs don't make it right. And
No, they
that's all.
don't. But then-
Another point to set in.
No, they don't, but I'm just being the devil's advocate, if you will.
But you gotta understand too, and I know you're getting a little upset, but we've been doing this, and we've had you to come, and you don't show. So put yourself in this side and say, okay, what about this person that he doesn't reach out? Right now, yeah, you're going in good faith and you're going the right way.
And I didn't not come as an attempt to just blow it off, okay? And that, you can believe that if you want, all right? I understand where you're coming from with that statement, and yes, it was not something that was to say, hey, screw you guys, I don't care what you have to say. That was not what was done, it was not my intent, I'm not that type of person, okay? That's not where that was. There was plenty other things going on, there were some letters, I didn't get, I know you mailed them, I'm not saying you didn't mail them, I just didn't get them. I got the constable when he came to the house, I got that in hand, and that got my ball moving at that point, okay? So, if I was a total, blow it off type of person, I would've just thrown that in the trash and kept moving, in the same direction of not showing up down here, okay? My wife has done a ton of research, she's offered to help and volunteer, she's a paralegal, she knows things, how to do things. All we're looking for is to do this program and move forward. If it doesn't work out in the end, it doesn't work out in the end. You'll condemn my house or whatever you'll have to do. But that's not, I don't think that's necessary, The system is working. The contractor who cleaned it out says it cleaned up nice, and we're saying we will clean it twice a year, if you need that on record, to be filed when we have it done, pumped twice a year, until we get a system put in. That's more than anybody else has offered to do with their systems and not in compliance. So, you know, it's something, like I said, you're free to come to my house, my property, look at it, and this literally is not a bad problem right now. We don't want it to be a bad problem. I know that in the backyard area, when the new system goes in, it's not gonna be a massive eyesore with a mound, because my yard slopes up. What it is a matter of is funding, finances, getting it done. And that's all we're asking you. Let us try this and get it done.
Well, I definitely hear what you're saying, but you know, and I'm gonna use a little bit what you threw at us, you know, these other people in compliance, is that, you know, we have, as you could see this in the couple right before you, they didn't even show up. Obviously, it's not the same set of circumstances, but you have people watching these meetings and people reading these minutes just like you do, and if we have to do for you, we have to do for everybody, and that sets an awful precedent.
Well, your own minutes say if someone was gonna sell their house and chose not to. It's your own minutes, you said it before.
That is true.
But so,
That is true, but I don't know exactly. I don't-
Probably me that said that.
It doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. That case might have been something totally different. That may have been a case of 6 months, not festering for 4 years, which is gonna fester to 5 years, because you're asking the state, you're
no,
asking the town.
I don't believe, excuse me, I don't believe it's festering if we're moving forward in a positive direction. It's festering if we're not doing anything proactive or positive to get it done.
Well, listen.
But what I'm hearing is, this is what we're banking on, is the thing that will happen in October.
Well, not
So
necessarily.
that's kind of wait.
Not necessarily, because I told you, I reached out to somebody who's gonna look at the system, and it might just need a repair. Are you telling me that my system is not gonna need a repair?
Well, I don't know, how about
Well, I think that's a step forward myself, that we've gone and done that. Somebody's gonna come and look at it instead of nothing but just waiting.
It is a step forward. It also gives an idea of what prices are, so that way you'll know whether you get this grant, which we don't even know, that's not there yet.
This goes on in other towns. Other towns participate in this program.
Correct, but we can't judge what town meeting's gonna do, or what's gonna happen, or how the selectmen are gonna embrace it, or anything else. And it's very positive, and I do like it. It's an awesome thing, it's a wonderful thing if it's implicated for circumstances like this, but it's a question mark. I think having the engineer look at this and further at it, it can buy a little bit of time. If you're looking for time, it could buy a little bit of time.
Russell, I hear that, and I'm totally for that, but it, Tom, it shouldn't have come to this, you know what I mean? I mean, we've had this conversation, you could have, Greg was sitting right here, you could have just said, hey, Greg, can you just come by and look at it? Or, and I understand that, you know, Andrew Spath is gonna come and take a look at it, but all the conversations, all you have to do is just have a little, just to show a good faith.
When I reached out to Morse Engineering, and we were going to sell the home, and we knew we were going to have to up the septic system, that's the direction I was going. Somebody passed away at that point. That put the entire thing,
On hold.
no, just to an end.
Okay.
That stopped what had to happen. Okay, so now, with that being said, that's where we went with it. I understand your letters, and I said to you before, it wasn't my intent to flip you the bird and say, you know, I'm not coming, I don't care, or anything like that, okay? That's not me, it's not my wife, it's not the way we are, okay? So,
As far as that is there, those are probably my words, and I still believe that today. But the problem is, and that's why I made the phone call to DEP, is they don't agree with the way I see it. And as I've said before, which may be written there or not, highlighted, is the fact that if the law says something, then we have to abide by that, and I've said that before. Whether it's a personal opinion or not.
Right.
If Title V says that you had a system inspected and it fails, then you have a certain amount of time to fix it. And again, my heart tells me when somebody's selling a house and they back out of the house, the system's not overflowing or anything else. That's my personal opinion. I think it should go on the back burner and not be looked at.
Everyone else voted for
It
it.
triggers.
But it's too
the
late.
system.
It's been discovered, and we're at this point now, and the letter of the law says that we have to do what we have to do.
The letter of the law said that then. The letter of the law was no different then, when you
Correct.
said that. So, like I
That's a
said,
personal
I'm
opinion.
not here to say, hey, you said this, and I'm not selling my house, okay? That's not what I'm saying, okay? I'm not saying that at all.
But I guess another question I want to go back is, I understand where you the field, you had the death in the family, you put it on the back burner, and then you came in and asked for your file. I guess my question is, what were you looking for then? Was that after the death and passing?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And I was asking for that because we were getting the certified letter from the board looking for information, for us. That's what we got. So I came in looking for my records.
So you've already had received, you're telling us that you received the letter, and then you came in? Because the letters didn't go out until after you came in and looked.
Right. You came in for your file, and at the time you came in for your file, that's when I pulled out your file and said, oh, you have a failed Title V inspection. And you said, oh, yes, I do. And you specifically said that it wasn't going to go well at home, now that I had discovered in your file that you had a failed system.
Yeah.
So that precipitated my initial letter to you.
No. I received a letter prior to that, maybe from the previous Board of Health.
Yeah, she sent you a letter in 2014.
Or was it Jennifer?
Yes.
So.
She sent you a letter in 2014 upon her receipt. I started in the Board of Health in the summer of 2014.
Right.
So the letter you got was from Jennifer Sullivan.
It may have been from her.
Okay.
And then, after you came in, that's when
That's when I
Jennifer
picked up the
realized
case.
what the heck was going on.
Okay.
And that's what caused this whole downfall.
It's not downfall.
Well, no,
It just doesn't matter.
It's not downfall, you're doing your job, I'm not.
It doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that we have to decide what we're gonna do with Mr. and Mrs. McDonough and figure out if we're gonna kick the can down the road again and give them the leeway, or if we're going to come up with some motion that's gonna say, you have to have Mr. Spath come in the next 3 weeks and just give you some sort of estimate, something that
So
says.
that's kind of where I'm leaning.
You know, just something that you know that what, hey, and like Doug said, you don't know what it's gonna cost. You have ideas, I mean, I don't know, and then maybe Andrew can put you on some sort of payment plan. Or if you don't use Andrew, maybe somebody else can put you on some sort of payment plan. It's no different if somebody's willing, if a private private company is willing to put you on a payment plan than you having to get on a payment plan from the state. What's the difference? You're still gonna have to pay, and if that person's willing to do it, then so be it, then get it done. I mean, what's the difference if you're paying a loan to the state or if you found somebody that would do that? And the only way you're gonna find out is if you call. That's the bottom line. Deals happen every single day in every single business. All you gotta do is just ask. Worst they can do is say no, that person goes on, you go on to the next one. Hey, this is my situation, it's gonna cost me $25,000, I don't have it, blah, 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 I'll give you X amount of money for whatever terms that you guys as gentlemen decide. And that's all we're looking for here, because it's gonna be no different than.
What if I sell the house? If I put the house up for sale?
Well, then you know what happens with Title V when you put the house up for sale. I mean, the Title V, the septic system has to be working in order to sell it, correct?
So there are some banks, not many, but there are some banks that will allow money to be put aside in escrow, so that the system can be repaired at the time that the new owners move in. Not many banks, but there are some banks who will do that. So if somebody chose to sell their house Money got put into escrow, system installed after new owners move in, and then whatever legal wranglings happen behind the scenes to return extra money, that happens. So, but it is done. It is done on occasion.
You know, and I want to note it to the board, because I know I brought this up before. Within the 2 years' time that we're talking here, I was involved in a federal lawsuit that took an awful lot out of me and my family, okay? So that just wrapped up, and I made that clear to, I believe, you and the board, that that was going on, all right? So I'm just getting out from under that, as well as everything else. So add all the things up if you're in my seat.
Honestly,
That,
Tom,
free
the
tuitions.
empathy is there.
I'm not looking for empathy, I'm just looking for time. I'm looking for time to move in the right direction, that's all. So at the end of the day, 41 Utility Road will eventually get a new system put in. I can tell you, it won't be 18 years, it won't be 10 years, it won't be 5 years. But, you know, that's all we're looking at. We're looking at saying, hey, yep, you brought it to our attention, we knew about it, we banged heads a little bit, but, you know, hey, you're gonna get what you want, we're gonna go that way. It just, you're not gonna get it tomorrow, but it's gonna happen.
So, when did you meet with this guy? I guess my question is, you told us that you talked to the guy.
Andrew Spath.
That. Do you have a date of him coming to your house?
I could call him tomorrow and have him come on my property, whatever time's good for him.
So Andrew Spath, like I said, is in the past, a licensed installer. I believe you would need an engineer, which is where Phil Spath or some other engineer would come into play.
He said his father is an engineer, right?
Yeah, his father is Phil Spath, and Phil Spath took copies of every single piece of paper in my file on Friday right before we closed, I assume in anticipation of this meeting.
Well, that's good. That's a positive step forward.
Okay.
For regardless, design for anything, he's done some research, so that's,
And the only thing we don't know if he's licensed.
So, so engineers don't have to be licensed, so Phil Spath to come in and do a design, whatever agreement they make, without any involvement or licensing from the town. In terms of, when we eventually get down the road of installing a system at this place, it has to be a licensed installer. Andrew has been a licensed installer in the past. He could very easily come in and provide all of the necessary documentation to become a licensed installer in 2018, if he is not already.
Right.
We have 28, I believe, licensed installers already in 2018, so he may be among
Right.
them. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
you must have guys that get their license before the year, and then other ones that get their license when the job comes.
That's
They
right.
only do one.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't remember who's who.
You might not
but
get one in
yeah.
Scituate, so why pay the fee?
Exactly.
If I get one in 219, then I'll pay the fee in a month.
Exactly, which is why I don't remember if he's current or not.
Right. That makes sense.
Huh?
I don't know.
So we're
Got
back,
power.
we're back at the,
He does not have a 2010. I just have to, okay, so he would just need to come in and get one if he was to do the work.
So I want to go as fast as possible with this. So, I guess my question and where I'm thinking right now is you get on the phone, and Jenna, you can throw in yours, you get on the phone with him to come out within this week or next week, and then put him on the agenda for the 12th to get an update.
you may not have engineering plans.
No, but at least we know that he's been there and what's going on. I don't know, or do we wait till the end of the month?
I think all the other stuff, and whatever else, but it's a path, at least it's moving forward, and I respect that. Without comment on the past.
So are you saying a month for an engineer's plan or a month for an update?
Well, by your.
Well, I think about for an update, because we want to find out what this fellow's going to say if he's almost redoing the Title V inspection. That was kind of strict I was getting at.
What does that entail, by the way?
That Title V inspection? They dig up the tanks, they measure the liquids in them, they pull the plans, draw it out to show you what you got. In some cases, they may dig an observation hole to see what groundwater is.
Now, would that be on a normal, just, that never happened on my property? I literally saw the guy put the shovel in the ground 3 times,
Yeah.
and then that was it.
I mean, I've never heard of a inspection being disputed, and it's possible maybe he didn't do his job. I don't know. Maybe re-inspection.
But the only way we're gonna find out is to have a registered Title V installer, an inspector come out and
Re-inspect.
re-inspect. And that's the only way you're gonna find out. So if you think, and again, this is something you probably should have brought up in the past. If you think that it was done wrong, then go ahead and pay for the re-inspection, and then we'll go from there. Because everybody makes mistakes, everybody has bad days.
That's right, and it's a road we've never traveled down.
So it's entirely possible. You might get the luck of the draw on this one, and it might be that, and things are working as functional as they should be in order to pass. I don't know. I don't dig the hole, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have the license, and
I don't know.
I've never seen it done, so.
I don't know. So, but you're incurring an extra cost there. So if you're gonna have Mr. Spath come out, and you're gonna have him look at it and have his dad do an engineering and have him do it, it's all gonna be an incurred cost. But it's an incurred cost that I think you should probably undertake.
I'd look to pay $300 to $500 to get a test or whatever done versus, just throwing a dart at the wall and saying, yeah, I failed.
Right, no, it might be a good.
If you feel that, then
It's a little bit of a gamble, but it might be a good gamble that pays off. It might be, and it makes everything else mute. It would be interesting to see.
I hope
the
for
report's
yours,
different.
I hope for your sake it is. I hope it was a messed up thing and we don't have to have this conversation anymore. But, be advised that if the person who does it, they find, significant stuff wrong, then, we're back in the same boat again, as you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
as you know.
I mean, if he concurs with it, then he concurs with it. I mean, that's, I'm okay with that.
And at that point too, if that's the route you're traveling to have it re-inspected within a month, that's kind of where we're leaning to or whatever. Might be a month, might be short, a month, a couple of days or longer, a couple of days, But now your engineers look at it, maybe can give you an idea of what the system, and that might be the thing, if he's gonna do a test on it and dig a perk hole, then you may just have him do that phase of the design while he's there. Because there's maybe a machine already on site, so you kind of double dip it on that one. You have the Title V re-inspected, redone, and you're also working towards the engineering for a new system, which I think, in my own opinion, would go very far as to buying time, because you're making forward progress, if it fails.
I want to have him and his dad out to, at least.
But that would be the time to dig the perk hole and do a perk test and do the whole 9 yards while you're there. Like I said, it's the cost of getting the machine. And once the machine's there, it's not going to cost you any more or less.
Right.
So the engineer would need to come in for a perk test application if they're going to do perk tests at the same time as Title V inspection.
That would be part of it, right. Okay.
So they would have to come in with the application.
It's just that Mr. Spath, either one of them, the father or the son, that, hey, if we re-inspect, then maybe at the same time we re-inspect, we should do a perk test.
The perk test for our.
Or at least pay the fee. And I think if you didn't do the perk test, we'd give him the fee money back for whatever reason. So we could have that all set up for that day he's going to do the Title V inspection. And if he looks at it and says, no, this system passes, I don't know what this other guy was saying, I don't know where he came from or why he did this. Who knows? But at that point, if it does pass, then you don't need the perk test. Cancel it. Within a week or two, whenever we have another meeting, sometimes we've taken a vote to give the money back. Say, okay, they didn't need the perk test, we've done that before.
How much is the perk test permit?
It's $320. It's a $40 non-refundable fee and $70 per hour for our witness at 4 hours.
$40 fee is a clerical fee, that's why The other one's for a paid engineer that the town hires, so
Right.
if he's not on the job site, then we can give that money back, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that way you possibly, hopefully, you only have to take care of the reinspection and it passes, fingers crossed, I mean, or worst case scenario is the engineer's there, they can do the perk test, and he'll give you an idea of how big of a system you need, and you can start on the design. And then we can start working towards funding with the other thing that you're proposing with the selectmen that you're looking at and other ways of going that way, so.
Now, the Title V case, if it is that his son, he would have to get a license, right? Is it matter does? Will he do the Title V on?
Well, it depends which spath we're talking about. Phil Spath is a licensed Title V inspector.
Okay.
So Phil Spath would do a Title V inspection. Phil Spath is also an engineer, so he could do the perk test holes, see the soil evaluator, and he could do a design, as could others. Andrew Spath has been and could be a licensed installer to put in a new system. And if he's by chance licensed by the state as an inspector, I don't know, but if he is, he himself can come in and get a license for a Title V inspector. So-
Right. So,
Sure, yeah. When's our meeting date within a month?
February 26th.
February 26th? Is that enough time? It's just short of a month by a couple of days, so we were talking a month anyway. So I would say continue to February 26th. And the continuance is for the purpose of you having a reinspection of Title V with information brought that maybe you didn't like the first one that was done, or you feel it was done in error. And, you know, and also to possibly do a perk test. If that Title V fails for the second time, then you'll have a perk test performed. And so on the 26th, you can present that stuff to us.
And quite possibly
Through
some
the
options,
engineer.
quite possibly some options with plans and no pricing.
Right.
And let's throw everything in there, let's, come forth with us to a game plan that, you'll know how much money you'll need and exactly what the system is going to entail.
Well, if the plans, I don't know if plans could get drawn in a month or not, it depends when they have the perk test done or whatever else, but at least it's show of faith. Yeah. Yeah, and at that point, if you stick with the Spaths, then great, they have a great reputation. At least I know Bill does, I know Bill for years, he's always done a good job. At that point, you'll have the stuff to go to the next step. It might take them another month to draw the thing. I get that. I'm just glad we're moving forward. Positive.
Can you part of that motion for job safety?
But there was all that, you didn't get all that?
One more time.
Make a motion to continue to February 26th for the purpose of having a reinspection of the Title V and also to possibly do perk tests for a repair on the system.
and I hear a plan if needed.
At 41 Utility Road.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys. See you in a couple of weeks.
All right.
Director's report.
So very brief update since the last time we met. We had our first winter's farmer's market this weekend with permitting and inspections conducted. We had, I believe, 11 permit holders. We anticipate the potential for 12 permit holders for this coming inspection if they apply. We have one new housing case for a total of 10. We have an unchanged number of nuisance cases For septic, we currently are reviewing plans submitted on 1/9 and then on 1/17. We have 4 plans in review at this point, since where we are in terms of deliverables to our office. We have 1 outstanding operations and maintenance repair. Besides the one that was before you tonight, we may have to revisit that one as it's not progressing as required. We have 5 outstanding O&M contracts. Actually, let me correct that, we have 4, because we received a contract today. So we have 4, 1 new and 1 addressed. We have 15 systems in failure and or conditional pass. Since the last time we met, we currently have 3 of those having been installed. And then they're just in the various certificate of compliance phase, so reviewing as-built, waiting for, electrical inspection confirmations, et cetera. So with any luck, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be on to 12. And an installer came in for the approved plan for an additional failed system today. So we're moving in the right direction on several of these homes. And then finally, just an update, I know it's flu season. We've been trying to advertise that we had 2 flu shots available. We no longer have any available. We received a few calls from folks looking for them. Our supply is complete.
Okay. Administrative invoice approvals. And meeting minutes approval for November 13th.
So we have no invoices for approval tonight, but we do have several minutes.
November
So
13th, November 27th, December 11th,
Let
December
you
18th.
try
January
and conquer.
What day is this?
Takes some very good notes, I have to say. I got commented on that before.
I
Very,
second that.
very thorough. You should write for the newspaper.
No. We'd like to keep her here writing for us.
This is definitely not the fake media.
Between SCTV and her notes, we have it.
Yes.
Ready, Russell? We were present in all these meetings, as far as I can see. All right, make a motion to move meeting minute approvals from November 13th, 2017, November 27th, 2017, December 11th, 2017, December 18th, 2017, and January 3rd of 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.